Hello, hello. My goodness. I'm so bright. Well, it's bright. I don't know how bright I am. Good morning. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Hope everyone is well. And for the last couple of Saturdays, and I do these live streams every Saturday. Speaking of which, if you can subscribe and hit the notifications icon bell and then turn your notifications on your devices to allow for notifications from YouTube, it might help my channel. It will help my channel with the algorithm wizards. Anywho, because some people say, I've missed you on YouTube, but I've never been anywhere. I'm right here. Anywho, what we've been doing the last couple of Saturdays is an open forum, whereas previously we'd always try to come up with a topic, spend half the time on the topic, and then turn to comments. Let's just jump on into comments. How about it? This is y'all's opportunity to give and get support, share your challenges, share your insights, share your pro tips, and I'll do mine. So, a primer first. The ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it now for over 10 and a half years, keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. That's total carbs, not net carbs. Why? Because net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. We'll talk about that later. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. I'm going to say 95% of the work is in that. That's where the challenge is. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. Then I've added, be patient and persevere. That said, let's jump into the comments. So I just jump in. Linda Bridges, hello from Texas, and Terry Hubbard. She writes, Jello from Chicagoland, and a special hello to Dr. T.U. That's insider knowledge right there. And Terry shares, that was hello, not Jello. It's okay if it's Jello as long as it's sugar-free. Blanca Gonzalez, good morning from Decatur, Alabama. Blanca, and you're a brand new patron. I have a question if you're willing to share. If you are not willing to, you don't want to share, that's totally fine. Are you originally from the US? And if not, where were you from originally? My husband is from Colombia, South America, and I have a theory. I'm just asking. I mean, don't say if you don't want to say. Ruth Haney, good morning from Chicago, and Judy Dulledge, good morning from Ontario, Canada. Sharon Merrill, hello from Utah. Wow, we got them all over. And Sheila Johnson, hello from Denver, Colorado. Man, we got the Midwest and the West and Canada. Where are East Coast? Well, the East Coast is taking it on the chin here over the last couple of weeks. So I know I just feel so badly. And our daughter-in-law's family has been heavily impacted in Florida. So that's very, very rough. And then friends and relations in the mountains of North Carolina. So we will keep a good thought for everyone, and hopefully people bit by bit get their power back and get access and food. So keep a good thought for that. So I am going to share, I think I did this last week, and I'll just talk like I would do if we were in person at a support group meeting. Sometimes you go around and say, what was rough this week, or what triumph did you have this week? Sue Todd, hello from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Thank you. The East Coast chiming in. So personally, at this point, food is not the challenge for me. I'm going to, honestly, once I decided to do this, once I had given up on losing weight, after I had tried many at-bats with low carb since 1977, and then, of course, it was low fat, low carb will kill you, so everyone went to low fat, and then I tried to move more and to eat less, and then some were the triathlons. You can see, photos of that and some of my thoughts at my blog, link below, caseydurango.com. I'd given up on losing weight. I'd been obese and morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. So for me, I believe, I don't know this, but I believe my motivation was different. It was no longer cosmetic. I didn't want to spend whatever years I had remaining deteriorating and being depressed and physically uncomfortable and on medications, and I didn't want to be a burden to my lovely mate. So my motivation changed. Even though since 1977, I knew that the induction period of Atkins worked for me, and I didn't have a lot of weight to I was really cute in 1977. I was second year of college and adorable. I just put on about 12 or 13 pounds over the first, year and a half of college. So I did the induction period, lost the 13 pounds, threw the book away. But then, then I was still cute and happy and energetic. But then for my mid 20s, things started to change. So for a long time, it was cosmetic. I was embarrassed about the way I looked. I didn't like the clothes that were available to me. I thought I was an embarrassment to the people I loved the most. But then it became about the way I felt physically and my health. So once I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes, came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, who is now a pal. I was never his patient, but we have a connection that we've, done things together, meetings and things like that, presentations. Just the keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it, because page 4 is page 4 of a 5-page handout he gives his clinic patients, or used to. I assume he still does. And don't eat if you're not hungry. And that day, January 8th, 2014, because I was in the doldrums about my health, the next time I ate, I laid off the carbs. And from that moment on, it's not been a challenge for me, the food. Some things I had to educate myself about, like what is a serving of broccoli? Because non-starchy vegetables are limited to about a cup before cooking of non-starchy vegetables. So broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, Brussels sprouts, and there's a list. And about 2 cups a day, maximum this is, of leafy greens. So I was portioning out what broccoli was like, because a lot of us were taught broccoli is like free food. Eat all you want. Well, in the ketogenic protocol, the bulk of carbs come from vegetables. But if you limit it to the amount, about a cup a day of non-starchies and about 2 cups a day of leafy greens maximum, you get to about 10 or 12 carbs. So I measured it. Oh dear. Well, I was eating way too much broccoli. So I had to learn things like that. But as far as pining over the foods I used to eat all the time and really, really liked, and if the fairy carb mother came and tapped me on the noggin and said, now you can eat all that food again, and you will still feel really good and you'll be really happy and you won't put on any weight and you'll be comfortable and won't have to take medications, I would be eating that food. But that is not what would happen for me. So I wasn't pining for the food. And at this point, I kind of lust after it when I see it in the commercial. Some of it makes me feel gross when I look at it. It's like, oh, that didn't even look good. All that beige food. But I really did like pizza and popcorn. Okay, so getting back to this, because I want this to be about y'all and not about me. Joanne Carduke, good morning from Lake Orion, Michigan. Blanca Gonzalez. Okay, I was born in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, so you're Beruqua. Okay, I had a theory. I don't know why I thought you might be from Colombia, but I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Beruqua. Linda Bridges, been on all those programs through the years. So, I did all of them. I did the juicing. I did the food combining. I did the move more, eat less. I did the food pyramid. I had everything done out. One thing I didn't do was Weight Watchers. Why? Because I'm not about to get on a scale in front of anyone, including my husband, to this day. But anyway, we've all done that stuff. Heidi Crane, hi from Minnesota. Judy Porterfield, good morning from Michigan, Casey and all. Sardines. Heidi Crane, you're still cute, by the way. Well, thank you. I don't know. If only. Judy Dullage, I am doing maintenance and find it hard sometimes to eat a meal and feel satisfied. But about half an hour later, I am hungry again. What gives? I am doing maintenance. Okay, so you've gotten to where you want to be weight-wise and find it hard sometimes to eat a meal and feel satisfied. But about half an hour later, I'm hungry again. What gives? Okay, so I have just the opposite. So when you say hungry, is it hunger or is it wanting to eat more? Because some foods, to this day for me, eating them makes me want to eat more of them. Not all of them, not many, but there are some. Things that come in casserole form. I make the world's best meatloaf. I got to tell you, I like meatloaf. Or any kind of casserole. It's just I have it, and if all those components of that casserole were served on a plate separately and not in casserole form, I don't think I'd have an issue. But there's something about a casserole. So I want to eat more. And sometimes I have to say out loud, I don't need this. I'm not really hungry. I just want to eat more. And, the sticker below reads, are you here out of habit or out of hunger? A lot of our eating is habitual. And that's okay because if we created a habit, we can break habit. So my experience, Judy, is, and it happens almost every day. So I'll push the peckishness and around Go Keto with Casey. That means, I am moderately peckish right now. With my patrons every morning, I give them a gauge of my peckishness when I wake up because I make videos first thing in every weekday and post them. And so on a scale of 0 to 5, right now, I would say my peckishness is about a 1.5 or a 2. I haven't had any solid food today. I've had my coffee. I'm drinking water, by the way. Water bottle. You can buy water. You don't have to buy anything to be 100% successful at this, but I will sell you water bottles and caps and T-shirts and mugs and stickers all day long, just trying to earn my keep. So what was I going to say? Oh, so I push the peckishness. And then when it's time to eat, peckishness is at a 5, time to eat, I will make myself, I'm on a kick recently of nice cheesy omelets. I just really love it. I have a real method that I like. And it's so delicious to me, this cheesy omelet. It's so decadent tasting that almost every day, while I'm eating it, I say, I'm a third of the way through. I said, this is so good. I might have this again later. I might make another one. And then but I do eat slowly. I'm going to say that. Eating slowly is key because of the hormone leptin, which is the satiety hormone that tells our brain you've had enough to eat, but it takes a few minutes, several minutes to get to the brain. So if we've eaten all the food before the leptin gets there, we might overeat. Anywho, but usually by the time I get to the end of that plate of food, I'm saying, no, I'm not going to make that. I don't need any more. And then about 20 minutes after I've finished and the leptin has had its chance to do its thing, I can honestly say if someone presented me with another cheese omelet, I wouldn't be able to eat it. I wouldn't want it. So I think we have to find that. But Judy, I don't know. Do some experimenting. Elaine Andolino from Buffalo, New York, and Judy Dullage. I don't eat until I feel stuffed. I feel hungry about half an hour later. Well, I don't eat until I feel stuffed either. I don't think that's the right approach. So I'm not really sure. Eat slowly. But if you're hungry, if you're legit hungry, maybe eat a little bit of something. Or maybe you wait and see if it passes, and maybe it's not actual hunger. Maybe you're in the habit of every half hour after eating. I don't know. That's something you're gonna have to experiment with, Judy. I mean, it's tough. This is one reason that an answer will not work for everyone. The ketogenic protocol is not for everyone. Some people can be perfectly healthy, happy, fit, energetic on a vegan protocol. Why do we think that every human, as different as we all are, should should be able to succeed on the exact same thing? We don't even have the same blood type. And I don't mean just A, B, O. I mean positive and negative. So we can't even switch out bloods without being very careful. And we're all humans. So there are many paths that can lead to the same destination. So I have had to find for myself those things that I will avoid, or if they're present, say if I make meatloaf, which I haven't done in a while. I ought to do that. I have to kind of prep my brain and say, okay, you're going to eat what you a little bit if you're hungry and don't have any more. And I'll tell you honestly, I've gotten to the point where many times I will prepare a delicious plate of fuel for my lovely mate. And I used to share with him and we'd have the plate of fuel. And then it got to the point where I was having much smaller portions than he. And now many times I just don't have anything, even if it's food I really like. Ribeye. I like all the food. All of it's good to me. Ribeye's probably my favorite. So I've had to learn that I require less. Why? Because I'm stage of life, my body composition, my whatever. I eat much less than I used to. Hey, Kay Kala in Utah. Once I start eating, I can keep on, but I've learned to just get busy doing something. For me, it's just something I say, nope, I'm done. Right? Right, Karen? It's like, nope, okay, I'm done. And I say it out loud. Sometimes I've asked myself, am I here out of habit or out of hunger? Out loud. So then that's how we break habits or create new habits. If we eat habitually, we can break eating habitually. LJ, hello from Orlando. Oh, honey, I ate a ton of hurricane comfort crap and gained 3 pounds in one day. I'm pissed and sad and wonder if I will ever be able to control my eating. Lost 30 pounds on ketovore. Yes. First of all, I trust you're safe and that your loved ones are safe. Listen, historic weather event. One thing at a time. Yes, you will be able to get back. You did it before. You know, the hurricanes did not come in and alter your physiology. You will be able to do this again and keep the faith. And just if borrow from a 12-step program. If you feel like eating and you know you're not hungry and you don't need the food, say, set a timer. I might eat that in 10 minutes, but right now I'm not. Just 10 minutes. And you know you can do anything for 10 minutes other than hold your breath. And you can avoid anything for 10 minutes other than breathing. Well, I hope you're okay, LJ. Julie, LJ, you have been through a lot. Don't worry, writes Julie. Absolutely. I mean, you gained 3 pounds. I'll be really honest with you. Every morning, I share with my patrons several things. How many eggs did we get? What the scale fluctuation was from the day before? What my level of peckishness is? And what muscle group I'm working on, the total gym. I put on the scale read 1.1 pounds higher this morning than it did yesterday morning. I know it's water. We had some Chinese food. We tried out for the first time a Chinese restaurant. Japanese restaurant. It was delicious. I tested a little bit of everything. After I'd had half the miso soup, I didn't need to eat anything else, but I did. So 3 pounds, not to be crass, but that could be just one good going to the toilet. So start next, eat the food that serves you, try to avoid the food that doesn't. Having spoken of that, I'm going to get a little commercial break here. There's a link to my T-shirts and all that stuff in my spread shop below. There's some. I think I put a link to my favorite book, the one that taught me a lot, The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living. These are all affiliate things. It doesn't cost you extra, but it does help me. So thank you. And I have a private support group on Patreon where 5 days a week I have patron only content over several different ways, one-on-ones, private live streams, and morning snippets. You know, seriously, LJ, and I don't think I've recognized, unless you've changed your handle, I don't think I've noticed, I don't remember your handle being here before. So I'm glad you shared your feeling, and none of us will diminish it. 3 pounds doesn't feel good, but it's probably on top of everything else you've been through. You know, I look at this as like triage. You have to take care of the most important things first. You know, when somebody comes into the emergency room and they have a steak knife sticking out of their thigh. Well, first of all, you need to get the steak knife out of the thigh and stop the bleeding. Then you got to, close things up and not, and then bandage them and then make sure there's no infection and then you move on to things like, well, let's have a cosmetic surgeon come in and clean up that scar a little bit, and then maybe some wound healing. And if it did enough, then maybe some physical therapy. So I look at this as your triage is, let's get the electricity back on. Let's make sure everyone we care about is safe. Let's muck out. I don't know what level of damage you might have experienced. I know it's miserable in the mountains of North Carolina. I mean, it's the mountains and mountain roads. And a lot of it's just still inaccessible, and people are still searching for family members. So you've got to take care of things first. So get through your triage and then think about the general healing. You'll do it. Like I said, the hurricanes did not change your physiology. If you lost 30 pounds a little bit ago, you can lose 5 pounds. You can. I would like to ask, Candace writes, even Dr. Okay. Certain people I don't talk about. LJ, thank you so much. As we are so fortunate, we escaped the worst of the storm. And Julie writes, Casey, that is a good analysis. Thank you. I pride myself on my analogies. And I always have given Dr. Westman grief about his, because his are like, so what did you mean? That's like, what? And he's a good sport about it. Has been a good sport about it. Does anyone have Karen shared that she just says, nope, had enough. Does anyone else have a pro tip? Because, raise your hand if you've never had an issue with not eating if not hungry and stopping when you've had enough. I will put my hand down because I have had that challenge. It can be, some people find that portion control is the issue. So how do you do that? Well, you can, of course, just serve yourself less. But for me, I could serve myself less. And if it's a delicious casserole, I might really be tempted. Some people have food prep and they take care of many days worth of food, get nice packaging, get it in there. And in their mind, they know, I'm only eating what comes in this canister right here. Whatever this is, that's it. I'm not going to carry 3 of these with me. For some people, it is serve yourself some, then wrap everything, even before you eat it, wrap everything up, put it in the back of the fridge, and have some leftovers tomorrow. By far, don't eat if you're not hungry is, I think, the most challenging thing for people to do. And then we kind of feel like, what's wrong with me? I was always amazed by people. This was before keto, when I was growing up even. But particularly when, I got older and I was having weight issues. And you'd hear people in person or on a movie or a television show, "Oh, can I serve you something?" Thanks, I'm not hungry." I thought, "Well, what does that have to do with it? What do you mean you don't want some spaghetti just because you're not hungry?" Or or a slice of cake. It was like, "That's that's crazy talk to me." I've always admired people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a bite." They can have a bite of devil's food cake, and they're truly okay with the bite. They go on about their day. For many of us, not that simple. And and I think this is what we need to learn about ourselves. We can hear other people speak. We can learn from their experiences. Maybe it'll trigger a thought, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea," or maybe I'll try that. Ultimately, we have to learn what does and what does not work for us as individual humans. I am not carnivore. I eat meat, but I don't eat just meat, but I mostly eat animal product because I don't eat that much food anymore. So I'm always going to default to the fatty sources of protein first, and if I stop eating when I've had enough, I may not get to the vegetables. Or I just don't serve myself vegetables. I'm not anti-veg. I very much like vegetables. But just because I like them and there is a portion of nutritional recommendations that say we must have fruit and vegetables, not I don't have to. I'm very healthy and happy. Of those things that can be measured through, like, lab work and stuff when I go to the doctor, I'm very healthy. And most days I'm pretty happy. Some days are just crap, but most days I'm pretty happy. And I know I feel better than I did on January 7th, 2014. I know I do. Linda Bridges, just want to be where you are, meaning that's that frame of mind. I didn't think this would ever be. I never thought about myself that I would just not care about eating. This is another analogy. Food used to be in the driver's seat with me. It was, what am I gonna eat? When can I eat it? Can I have some more right now? Okay, that what I'm gonna eat next. Then the wonder of following the ketogenic protocol and becoming a fat burner, which is what this is about. You reduce your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver ceases to pump out glucose like a fire hose. And when that happens, the body happily switches over to burning ketone bodies or fat for fuel, and it suppresses appetite. So I went from food being in the driver's seat to food being in the passenger seat. Okay, I'm not thinking about it all the time. To the back seat. Now it's in a trailer being towed behind my car. I like food. Food does not dominate my thought process. And eating, I just never thought. People say, "Oh, it's comfort food." Food was torture for me. Torture. Because I knew what I was doing. I knew I was doing it to myself. Yes, frame of mind, right? You don't necessarily want to be right where I am, Linda. Although it's very beautiful here. We are so lucky, and it is a gorgeous sunny day, and the sky does not have a cloud in it, and we call that sky Carolina blue. Well, it's a blue sky, and we are Tar Heel fans, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So the old saying, "If God isn't a Tar Heel, why is the sky Carolina blue?" Yes, torture. Yeah, torture. Judy Porterfield, right. Which is why keto low carb is the best. It's the only lifestyle that's taken the cravings away. Love it. Can be around trigger foods, but not even touch them. Love it for life! Exclamation point. Well, all I got to say to that, Judy, is sardines. And here's another thing, cravings. Cravings are not a life emergency. They are like a stray cat. If you don't want them to come back, don't feed them. They will go away. Amy Marshall, LJ, I'm south of Tampa and have damage from Milton. It's stressful, so I understand. Oh, y'all, golly. And Karen out of Utah says, I'm ready to go now. As Casey says, food is not the boss of me. Good chat. Thanks. Bye, Karen. And Julie writes, sorry, Amy. If positive vibes going out to the universe help, then that's what I'm just shoveling them up there. Thank you guys so much for being here and allowing me to be part of your day, and particularly those of you who have better things to do than, look at some talking head on a Saturday morning. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer, total, not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. Be patient and persevere, and be kind to yourself. Let me see, I'll get a last couple in here. Toby McBallerina. I'm in my first trimester of pregnancy, keto since 2020, and I no longer want to eat steak. Interesting. Judy Porterfield, LOL, you're not just a talking head. Love you, Casey. Candace, stray cat, LOL. I have too many stray cats. Jennifer Costa, squirrel. Well, hashtag my friend Jen. Let's try to have a little chat later on if you have the time in your very busy day from the West Coast. Okay, friends, be sweet. Just don't eat sweets. And stay safe. Thanks. Bye.